Folks, what's going on? Heir of Carthage here, or actually this time it's really Marcus Wulfhart here, and welcome you to the Isthmus of Lustria. We're going to witness kind of an epic campaign moment that is either going to be an epic blunder or a insane victory, and I will give you all the rundown right now. I've been playing some Marcus Wulfhart campaign. This is on the very hard setting, so in terms of combat difficulty, it's the same as Legendary. The only difference is going to be is I'm not limited on camera movement or mini-map, right? So a very difficult battle. What happens here is that I actually most of the campaign have been fighting dark elves and vampires. Finally, I get a little bit of lore-friendly lizard fighting here. So this is Marcus versus the Lizard Beast. And he is just outside of the city of Hexatl facing off against a huge force of defenders because Wulfhart is basically trying to take over the great temple city here for the Empire and loot it for its riches. So the lizards have come out in massive numbers. They outnumber me a little over 2-1. So it's about 2,400 lizards versus Wulfhart's, roughly 1,100 something, I think, if we look up here. 1,255. Only 1152 lizards on at the moment, but it'll be close to 2,400. They have reinforcements coming in from the very back. Now, Wulfhart's army does get to Vanguard deploy in its entirety. I have not spent much money upgrading his army because funds have been rather tight, and so he fights with whatever he has here. And we are going to have some halberds, Free Company militia, great swords, swordsmen, Stirland's Revenge, more halberds, and then up as a missile line, I'm very proud of the Hunters. I'll show those to you in just a minute. I do have the Silver Bullets here, who have some absurd weapon damage here. And then not only that, look at that. Look at this Huntsman right here, 79 missile damage. That's right, folks. They fire 2 missiles per volley because of an ability I've unlocked. Plus, I have chevroned up and given them everything else. Look, 73, 64. I think that they're close to Marcus, and it gives them even more buffs. So I have huge damage on my Huntsman with an anti-large bonus. I do have Marcus Wulfhart leading the army. You might notice this strange red aura about him. That's because he has the Sword of Cain. He just took it off Marathi, who was kind enough to come attack one of my ports with the Sword of Cain in hand, and I was like, yeah, I'll take that. Thanks, Mom. So anyway, now Wulfhart has 94 attack, 72 defense, 902 weapon damage, 578 of which is armor piercing, a 720 damage missile attack here that has a bonus versus large of 120 with armor sundering as part of it as well. So yeah, Marcus Wulfhart is stacked. It's too bad CA just made him really inaccurate still. I swear Kalara is the better bowman here by a long shot, because Kalara actually hits her target. Now remember that she is a special Way Watcher that joins the expedition if you complete certain parts of the story. Now her missile damage is actually a little higher than Wulfhart's. It's just not focused on armor piercing or anti-large, but she hits her target almost every time she shoots, and Wulfhart hits his target like 1 out of 5, unless it's a gigantic dinosaur, then he'll hit it. But I definitely find the speed and overall just accuracy of Kalara makes her actually better than Wulfhart in some ways. Wulfhart does have a special ability, Executioner, that's going to be really good for him. I do have the Black Lions, which is the war wagon with the Hellblaster volley gun. Holy crap. I wish I could have more of these. They're fantastic. I do have some Empire Knights at the very back of my army. We have the Sunmaker here, which is a Hellstorm rocket battery, and then we have an Empire Great Cannon. And then there's an Amber Wizard up here supporting. So this is Gavin Helborg, and he is on the Griffin here. Really cool looking Griffin design. So he is stacked. He's got all of his abilities, all magic. So yeah, he's ready to go. Now anyway, as far as the front line of the Lizard Beast, let me just give you a quick rundown of them. They've got quite a few Salamander and, Razordon hunting packs. Saurus Warriors with shields. Saurus Spears with shields. This is a pretty formidable army that they have. There's some Ripperdactyl Riders here and some Blessed Cold One Spear Riders. Now, as for the reinforcements, there's going to be Temple Guards. There's going to be a couple of Ancient Steggies. You can see here already there's a couple of Skink Priest and a Saurus Old Blood rolling in. So there's going to be some pretty significant reinforcements coming in. This map was really uneven and bad for my artillery. I really should have deployed all the way back here probably, but I was thinking I don't want all the lizards to get grouped together. That'll just work in their favor. So I deployed a lot further forward, hoping that I could shoot up the first army before the second one really arrives, and we'll see whether or not my plan works out. There's going to be an intense hail of fire coming out of my army, and that's exactly what this army is set up to do. Look here, though. I didn't notice this initially. Rockets don't have a very high angle of attack, and I am absolutely blasting a hole through my own great swordsman by mistake, so that is pretty unfortunate, albeit my rockets did fortunately more damage to the lizard beast. Over here we're going to use the hunter's snare, or hunter's trap. This is the upgraded version. 22 seconds I can hold all these units in place and try and do some damage. Now Wulfhart ends up in a big fight right in the center. I'm actually pretty good with that. I'm going to summon a manticore over here to do some help. I've got to get these blessed spear riders out, so the manticore and the amber wizard are going to fight those. And then I've accidentally got one of my outriders damaged. Now I'm going to use the Sword of Cain ability here. It cuts a pretty gaping swath through a lot of the lizardmen who were fighting Wulfhart. You can see there's a Croxagore Ancient out here playing golf with my infantry, quite successfully I might add. And Wulfhart is in some pretty big trouble. My infantry got mowed down, and I don't really have a lot of infantry in this army, so Wulfhart's just going to have to be out on his own for now, and that's pretty much all there is to it. So the fight is raging right now, and honestly, it has not gone as smoothly for me as it should be. My decision to deploy this far forward now seems very bad because, as far as reinforcements go, a Feral Carnosaur just absolutely bum rushes Wulfhart, and Wulfhart is already buried under a Croxagore Ancient and a Scar Veteran here. And now there's pterodactyls swooping in on him, so he's in bad shape. Kalara is stuck out here. I do have some swordsmen that I can send out to assist her. And then my flank is getting overrun by a Saurus warrior as well that kind of snuck out of the woods on me, and I didn't expect. So I do manage to clean up the spear riders. My huntsmen get back on station and are able to start delivering some volleys. And Wulfhart is getting beat up really bad. But fortunately for me, the Carnosaur actually pushes him out of the fight, which ends up being kind of good. The further he gets pushed, and don't get me wrong here, Wulfhart is a beast at the moment, but his armor's not great. And then this Ancient Stegodon really pushes him all the way out of the fight, which gets him out of that infantry, and that actually ends up being very helpful. Yeah, so fortunately Marcus gets knocked completely out of the fight by this Croxagore Ancient and the Stegodon, and that is going to put him a little further out here where at least the infantry isn't chewing his face off. He's actually doing a little better versus all these single entity models. In fact, you can see him getting some pretty good shots in here against the Croxagore Ancient. It actually just totally KOs him while my huntsmen just open up and just start flogging this Stegodon. You can see that the amount of damage these huntsmen dish out is just extraordinary. And they're going to completely KO one, but not before a second Stegodon comes in. Lizardmen just can't have enough of these right now. And so my lines are in utter disarray here. My artillery is now going to be compromised. What's little was left of my infantry line is gone. Kalara gets routed, and I'm going to be lucky if she comes back from routing. The Sunmaker's almost compromised. Fortunately, it got almost 400 kills already because it's the Sunmaker. See, we did get the second Stegodon. It's going to be very crazy here if I want to win this. There's so much infantry left for the Lizardmen, and I've only got a couple of decent tools, one of which is these Outriders with grenade launchers. They can do a ton of damage to all this infantry, but they have to stay alive in order to do it. Wulfhart is still in decent shape, but he's getting rushed by even more Lizard leadership. Another Scar Veteran and a couple more Skink Priest are headed this way. Again, the Sunmaker's gone. 405 kills, though, fortunately. My cannons didn't do a whole lot in terms of kills. I still have a ton of ammo on the Black Lions, and I still got a Silver Bullet up here, but as you can see, it's going to be pursued out here as well. I have a few Halberds out here who are fighting this, but this is Temple Guards and Croxagores. They're not going to last that long out there, so this is turning into a very bad situation for me. Having gotten rid of most of the faster units from the Lizard Beast, I'll have a chance as Wulfhart to try and finish one. You can see my huntsmen Don't have a lot of ammo left, but what they do have is the ability to get a lot of kills with what they have left. They dish out tremendous damage. These Croxagores were headed their way, and I'm going to start unloading on the Croxagores very quickly. You can see the grenade launchers just blow up that entire blob of lizard infantry. That is huge because my infantry is just about to give way. So totally finish them off. Croxagores are going to just barely catch my outriders here while I finish mowing them down with the huntsmen. The huntsmen doing a spectacular job overall. My Free Company militia didn't cause a ton of kills, but has managed to hold out for a long time along with just a couple of great swords and Empire Knights. Really a pretty impressive performance. You can see over here the Silver Bullets are now being full-on pursued by a skink cohort, and the White Lions are trying to take shots. They've only got 71 kills. Would have hoped to have seen a lot more, but they were firing at single entities earlier, and I just can't seem to get Marcus away from the fight. He's getting charged by Ripperdactyls. And everything else. I've got to get Marcus out of here. My huntsmen are run out of ammo mostly, so now they're going to have to go into melee. They will not be able to hold for very long, but fortunately for me, their leadership is quite sturdy. I'm able to throw a couple of last volleys in here and rack up some kills, and then they're just going to have to hold. And my strategy here is going to have to be to get my Amber Wizard back in. He had been chasing off some Rippers, and then I'm going to have to fall back and use Kalara, who just barely came back from routing, and Marcus, as well as the White Lions and the grenade launchers, to see if I can finish up all this crazy stuff. There's still salamander hunting packs out here. That could be a very dangerous situation for me. Skink cohorts are very quick. You can see over here I am struggling to get away from this skink cohort. I'm going to have to swing the Amber Wizard over. Right there, Marcus executes one of the skink priests, so that's a huge play. So that's another leader. That was actually the executioner ability from Marcus. And fortunately for me, if he does end up in a fight, he doesn't have a lot of hit points left, but he is going to be really hammering anybody he fights because of the Sword of Cain being in his hands. You can see over here a Scar veteran chasing me. I'm going to swoop down on this, and the White Lions going to give this Scar veteran some point-blank love. I do have to fall back because he hadn't routed yet, but he does route. And then at the same time, Wulfhart drops a shot on him. Kalara pegs him, and this is from the unshielded side, and then Wulfhart just finishes him with a huge blow there. I was making fun of Wulfhart for never hitting his mark, and he finally hits it. He is the Hunts Marshal. Again, Kalara, Wulfhart, and the Silver Bullets get rid of another Skink Priest, so now you can actually see the power bar starting to slide slightly in my favor. There's still a huge chunk of Lizard Beast over here charging back at us, though. They've even got their Croxagores regrouped. So a little bit of a dangerous situation still, but it's looking more and more manageable. The Black Lions have a very good position to just rain fire down all over the enemy. Their kills are starting to jump. I'm able to use one last Doom flock here, or Flock of Doom, from the Amber Wizard, which is going to be big. All the hit points I can take off these, the better. And you're going to see another Executioner shot here from Wulfhart, who is going to have Kylara pin these guys down with the Prey of Anath Raymond just to keep them from approaching. Almost kills the Scar veteran. I mean, he literally just barely survives that. But this Skink cohort, I can't afford it to catch Kalara, and I can't allow it to catch the Outriders. Over here, some Temple Guard do manage to get all the way into the Silver Bullets, despite having been fired on previously, so still a bit of a hairy situation at best, but Kalara and Wulfhart do manage to stay out of the fight. The Outriders with grenade launchers are able to unleash some devastating volleys here into a ball of Lizardmen infantry. And if you're ever facing Outriders with grenade launchers, the last thing you want to be in is a ball. A few of my Huntsmen came back from routing, which will allow me to screen my leadership. And we've fallen back to the point of no return. But hey, guess what? We've got the high ground. I have the high ground, Lizards. Don't try it. And here is the epic last stand of the Hunts Marshal's expedition. Huntsmen go back into combat, and it's a brutal fight to the end. These salamanders came popping out of the forest, literally almost scared me to death. I thought they were going to come get my Silver Bullets, and then these 4 Temple Guards regrouped and came back in, so their leadership just won't be broken. And here at the end, Kalara and Marcus get some good hits on some of the leadership, like right there. The Skink Priest takes a big hurt and goes down, and that pretty much triggers a army losses. So that leadership was all that the Lizardmen really had to hold on to, and Marcus is able to pull an epic victory out of the jaws of defeat here. Part of that jaws of defeat is my fault for the way that I deployed him. way too close. When you have artillery like this, just back up. You're going to want all the shots you can get, and you got to trust your artillery. I was just worried because there was so much forest. I didn't know exactly which way the lizardmen would come from. The forest really reduces the effectiveness of the artillery, and so I was very concerned about it. Now, in the end, a couple of things were MVP. One, the Sunmaker killed an unreal amount of enemy infantry, and without that, obviously, this certainly wouldn't have worked. Number two, the Huntsmen. They're not going to have the most kills on here, but these guys downed several single entity monsters and also managed to kill a whole bunch and managed to hold in melee while we fell back to our Obi-Wan Kenobi position on the high ground, which gave us the victory ultimately. The Outriders with grenade launchers were key to victory here as well. These guys didn't do a whole lot early in the battle, but later just started mowing through a whole bunch of the infantry that was left for the Lizard Beast. My infantry tried. They obviously got outmatched. Look at Sterling's Revenge here. What a standout performance from them as well. Managed to pick up 160 kills before getting knocked out. That is, I mean, more than these great swords managed to pick up, so pretty impressive work by Sterling's Revenge. The Black Lions ended up with 187, and remember that even almost at the end of that battle, they only had 70 or 80, so they picked up over 100 kills, and probably the closing minute or so of the battle, which was a huge clutch for me as well. So it was very, very close here. Mazdamundi was not here because I had killed him previously in a battle that was extremely lopsided, and so it gave me a lot of overconfidence coming into this one. And wow, yeah, I mean, I may have mowed down Mazdamundi, but these guys were not keen on me taking their capital city from them, which I did at this point, but yeah, I mean, it cost me. Anyway, I just thought I'd show this. It's kind of fun. Been playing this Wulfhart campaign. It's another one that's very difficult, a lot like that Marathi campaign I'm in. You don't have a lot of friends. This is a Vortex campaign, obviously, by the way. And so, yeah, you don't have many friends in the area. Everybody kind of hates your guts, and it's been an interesting challenge. At some point, I may show you all some more of this one, but for now, I think I'll just focus on doing some streams and stuff from the Marathi campaign, because that one is also quite epic. But again, everybody says there's never any challenge in a later game campaign, and in this Wulfhart one, it's a lot different than the Marathi one. It's not as much challenge as that one in the later game, but there you go. There was a battle. There was a big deal. I don't think I would have lost the campaign if I lost it, but I would have lost my main character for a while, and that sucks. So it was fun nonetheless, and I thought you all might enjoy that one because it was very close in the end. Had some great moments and some really overpowered units. That's one of the things I enjoy most about the campaign. I love getting like my huntsman there being ridiculously OP. That's great. That's part of the fun of the campaign. And I always hear some people like, oh, they need to balance. No, I worked hard. I'm like 100-something turns into the campaign. I want some OP units as a reward. I find a lot of joy in it when we get to that. And it's a fun way for me to explore all the different aspects of this game. I wouldn't use Huntsmen a ton in multiplayer. They're not bad in multiplayer. I wouldn't use them a ton there, though. But man, they're really fun in this campaign because your leaders can buff them up a whole bunch. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed this one. HeirofCarthage signing out for now. I'll be back with some more Total War action soon.